feel that pressure? That's the swamp trying to fold you. But you're made of iron and sin, ain't you? Let's get to digging, boy. The spirits are watching. I'm waking up for the sun, even thinks about bleeding, giving the hunger exactly what the hunger is feeding. I got a hammer in my hand and the hicks on my heart. I'm pulling the ghosts of my failures apart. The sweat on my brow is the oil for the lamp. I'm building the palace in the rock and the damp. Every mile is a mountain, every step is a wall. I'm kicking down the lock on the devil's back door. The mud is a magnet, it's pulling my knees, but I'm carving my name in the bark of the trees. The harder I labor, the more the hate shiver. I'm turning the blood into gold in the river, so I dare walk through the fire and the silt. I'm building up a legacy on everything I built. Pavement in the muck and the black. I ain't never turning back. Don't stop, won't stop. Let the gators take a lick. I'm dead walking just to save my motherfucking swamp dead. See an obstacle, I see a bone I could break. I'm taking the crumbs and I'm baking the cake. I'm working while the demons are catching disease. I'm praying to the hustle while I'm down on my knees. Even if the road is a circle of ash, I'm chasing the vision, I ain't chasing the cash. Billy, you're going nowhere, they scream from the shade, but I'm shopping in the edge of a rusted out blade. Dead walking through the thicket, dead walking through the pain. I'm finding the harvest in the pouring rain. The harder it gets, the more I'm alive. The swamp only loves the ones who survive. Hell no. I'm a steam engine fueled by the ghosts of the past. I'm built for the haul, and I'm built for the last. If the earth won't move, I'll push it aside. There ain't no hole deep enough for me to hide. So I did walk through the fire and the silt. I'm building up a legacy on everything I built. Pavement in the muck and the black. I ain't never turning back. Don't stop, won't stop. Let the gators take a lick. I'm dead walking just to save my motherfucking swamp dead. There it is. I told you to die there. I told you it was there. Keep walking, even when the skin falls off the bone. Dead walking is the only way home. I reckon I'll just keep digging till the sun turns black. Fuel burning faster than it should. Ran it twice. Same number. So I went up. Rover don't argue, just moves when I tell it. Ground don't shift, so I make where I step it. Tracks laid down and gone in a minute. Ain't nothing here, so I don't gotta fight it. Left boot drag still, little off on the heel. Don't hear scraping now, guess that ain't real. Radio cut mid-sentence again. Left it like that, ain't fixing it. Suit tight on my wrist, but it ain't a problem. Light blink slow like it's asking, not calling. Everything quiet, but it's not empty. There ain't no bridges up here. Yeah. Not a line tied down, not a thing connect. But there just cut what I burn. Chain drag rhythm got its own beat. Rover keep time, I just lean back deep. 3 steps out, then I stop midway. Forgot what I needed, turned anyway. Helmet fog come, then it clears real slow, like a breathing for me, but I don't let it know. Haven't heard my voice bounce back in days. My before don't matter anyway. You ever notice when nothing moves? That's when it feels like it is. There ain't no bridges up here, not yet. No weight holding nothing, no lines connect. But there will, yeah there will. Ain't wasting fuel, drifting nowhere. This gotta turn. Here to prove it, didn't come to be seen. Came up cause empty calls less than everything. Let's pull, let's drag, let's to hold me in place. Cut enough weight, you don't gotta escape. There ain't no bridges up here. Yeah, but I don't leave things unfinished. Rover's still moving.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud, never doubt, not what I'm about. Have you fucking loud, if you ring it out, keep making sound, you'll never bounce, bitch I'm moving down, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me.
Do a quick scan of the forest. I'm gonna try my best to... What the heck was that? What the heck was that? Look it! Guys, wait! Oh.
What was that, sir?
That's not human! That's not human!
Sir, are you okay, sir?
There's something in the back of my truck!
Okay, what?
Oh my god, see that? Look, it's going up, it's taking off! No fucking way! What the? What the fuck? It just went into space! What? It just went into...
Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use. So when I hit him with my fucking mouth, I take shots, I take shots, I make shots, I miss rocks. You get rocks, you get dots, swing locks, and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient.
Turn right on. Sounds like it's in the corner.
Shit, cause I know that I want it, I know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me.
You better... Sure? Gia!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh.
I'm on mute. What can I say? Welcome back, everybody, to the show. Tonight we have a special edition. Like I said, we have a special edition. If you were here last night, I said we were going to do something different tonight. And tonight we are going to be talking about these missing scientists in our way. So let me start here. We're going to get comfortable here, and we're going to bring up the chat. We're going to do roll call. All right.
What's going on, everyone?
What's going on, Weevil? What's going on, Weevil? Mueller, what's going on? Blues and G Music causing problems in chat. What's up, brother? Bama, is this your new account, man? Like, because if so, we got to get that. We got to get that one a wrench.
Yeah, I think that's
what else
Bama's
we
one.
got. Tracker
What's
Long,
good,
what's
Will
going
Cook?
on? Willie Cut, Larry and Candace, what's up? Who else we got in here? Miss Arlene, what's going on? Chuck Pointer, what's going on, bro? Who else we got up in here? I see 16 people. I don't see 16 names. Truth Walker, what's up? Who else we got in here? Frankie in early in the chat earlier. Who else? If you're listening, guys, just drop a hi in chat or a wave or something. We'll shout you out. We're pretty friendly. Like we said, we're pretty friendly over here. Plus the blue meanies, they're there for a reason. All right. So, like I said, tonight we are going to do a little special episode about these missing scientists. Now, I love that this type of stuff is finally getting attention. The mainstream media is actually picking up now on scientists that have dealings with special operations, stuff like that are actually turning up missing researchers and everything like that. And where people are like, you guys heard us talk about this before, but where people are falling off is this type of shit. Do I want to keep it clean or not? No, you know what? I'm not going to keep it clean. This type of shit has happened before. You guys have heard us talk about it numerous times.
Keep it clean. We're not making any money off this now.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I got a fucking email from YouTube talking about, you can't monetize your duo. We can't monetize your video. Dumbasses, you demonetized my channel like 6-7 months ago. After 4 years it took me 4 years to make $100. Then I was about to cash it out and they demonetized the channel. So eat it. Keep your $100. And this is not liquor. This is just cherry Pepsi. I don't feel like drinking Red Bull tonight. All right. So I believe this stems back from, it goes further back than even the Marconi scientists. If you want to get deep down into
hold
it.
on. I got a new death for you too. Hold on. I got it written down. Hold on.
Who do we got? See, doing some research. Who we got? Damn YouTube. Yeah, it's plus it demonetized Brandon Tinfoil Tales. Like, he does great work. He's been cranking out. He monetized his channel too, like earlier this week, which is crazy. It's stupid. All right. So who's the name? Yes, so I can get rolling here.
James Moffat.
James Moffat. What did he research? What was he a part of?
Aerospace defense engineer, military veteran, killed in plane crash with his family. He was one of those guys that he was a test pilot at first, and he worked his way up through the ranks, and he had a very high clearance also. Did you freeze up or hello? Hello? Yo, did we just freeze up? Hold up. Yeah, that's a new person that just recently died. This was what's today, the 22nd? Yesterday, I think it was. His name was James Moffett. I'm looking him up right now. A decorated veteran pilot, aerospace engineer, and defense researcher was killed in a plane crash in South Carolina last week, raising questions about whether the incident is related to the deaths and disappearances of 11 scientists tied to nuclear and space research.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? Yo, we're not even 5 minutes in, bro, and that shit kicked me. Why is this shit so loud in my headset? The music's mad loud in my headset right now. There we go. What is good? See, they don't like you talking. They don't like people actually doing research. That shit smooth boot me out. I typed in a certain subject, and that shit just said no. You won't be looking this up. Too bad. All right, I'm back. All right. So, if we want to get deep into this, one of the first tied into the UFO field would be James B. Forrestal. James B. Forrestal was the former, what was it? The
Secretary of Defense.
The Secretary of Defense. And he was sternly opposed to keeping this secret about UFOs and aliens and everything like that, to the point where they had him committed to, I believe it was Bethesda.
Yep.
And on the day his brother was supposed to come pick him up, they had held James Forrestal for against his will for man long, and then his brother finally found out, and he worked his way to get him out. On the day his brother was supposed to come get him, some people showed up at the hospital, and they threw that man out. They tied some shit around his neck so that he would hang first and then plummet. But I guess the knot it wasn't tight enough, so he just first person to be off for the UFO cover-up. Now, along the line, after James B. Forrestal, there's been numerous researchers, people who have investigated this stuff, people who have participated in some. One gentleman, we've talked about him before, one prominent gentleman, fully believed this guy's story, Phil Snyder. Phil Snyder, government geologist. Yes, government geologist. And he was tasked with building a underground facility off of the Archuleta Mesa. This was in 1979. And upon drilling holes down into the mesa, they were bringing up drill bits, and drill bits were breaking, and then they started smelling these foul odors coming up. So Phil Snyder, according to Phil Snyder, he got into what we could consider now like a hat suit, ventilation system, ventilation shit like that.
Yeah.
He like almost like a hazmat suit, so you can't So he goes down the hole with a soldier. When they get down into the hole, he said there's, what was there, 3 of them? 3 7-foot tall gray aliens there. And he fire killed one. There was one that waved its hand across a box on its chest, and it hit him with some kind of cobalt radiation. Phil Snyder in his speeches, he used to go around and show people he's missing fingers, used to have the hole in his chest and everything like that. And he said the soldier pushed him back basket and raised him up, and the soldier lost his life. He said during that firefight there was 66 Secret Service agents, black military operators that lost their lives during that operation. And that leads to Anthony Sanchez's book, Dulce and how he interviewed
UFO
the
Highway.
lieutenant colonel. UFO
UFO
Highway.
Highway.
He interviewed a lieutenant colonel who responded to that incident, which to me now that puts the incident in a whole new light that everybody it actually happened there. Right. So you've got Phil Snyder. Now, there's a researcher I want to talk about that was off. This was in the 90s. I had a few of his books. This gentleman's name was Jim Keefe. Art Bell had him on a few times. Jim Keefe was the author. He wrote a book called The Saucers of the Illuminati. And he wrote a few books, but the ones that stood out to me were Saucers of the Illuminati because I had that one, and Casebook on the Men in Black.
And the casebook on the Men in Black is what got him killed.
Black. Yeah, if you do, everybody who's looked at the Jim Keefe stuff pretty much agrees that the Casebook on the Men in Black is what got Keith offed. And I believe it was like it was like real sudden that happened to him.
It was a blood clot.
It was a blood clot. Okay. So now let's talk about Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar, I believe, is telling the truth. Now that a lot of stuff is coming out and it's making sense about what Bob Lazar was talking about in the 80s and the 90s. Remember this. Bob Lazar is on record. You can find this on, I believe it was talking to Art Bell. He's on record saying he had to drive around with Uzis in his car, with an Uzi in his car, because the death threats were like they were getting out of control. All right, so now maybe he made himself way too public for them to like actually escalate that on him, and now it would be way too late to try it because the story's been out there for years. Now we're moving on. Now let's go back a little bit to the 1980s. During the 1980s, there was, me and Bass have talked about this again before, there was the Falkland Islands War. Now, when you do a little research on it, the Falkland War was really about what you think it was about. It was apparently about an alien base that they found down, some kind of alien base or something down there in the water that they found. And what they found was, if you've watched X-Files, they put it all in our faces all the time. What they found down there in the Falkland Islands, off the Falkland Islands, was a black sentient oil-like substance. Now, here we go with the deep dive. Here we go. This is what people are missing in regards to these new scientists. Back in the 1980s, the Marconi scientists, in a span of a few years, 24, 25, something like that, researchers that worked at GEC Marconi, based in the UK, who had which that company had ties to the Strategic Defense Initiative, which Ronald Reagan constantly talked about in the 1980s, which I think the Strategic Defense Initiative is three things. It's the secret space program, the Rods of God program, and the Dark Fleet.
Everything that Gary McKinnon found.
Yep. Everything that they wanted to bring Gary McKinnon over here to talk about. But they was like, we can't really have that shit, because if we bring him over here and talk about it, he's got to testify to what he found in open court.
And the government has to dispute it.
Yep, and the government has to dispute it, and they can't dispute it because how are they going to explain that this man hacked into their systems using admin password of a secured system, and that he was not the only one floating around in there? That would look pretty damn bad on the
that still burns their
computer.
ass.
Oh, I'm sure it does. It would look really bad on the computer infrastructure of the United States intelligence agencies. I digress. So, right, I'm going to do right here is just we're going to read off a couple of these Marconi scientists that were off, and it's actually when I tell you this shit is crazy. It's crazy how some of these guys were actually taken out. So here we go. 1 second, let me scroll through here. Boop, 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 boop. All right, so we're gonna go. I'll bring up this page here. Where I'm gonna, like I said, we're not monetized, so I really don't care. So I'm gonna share right off this page because, like I said, a lot of the people that are investigating. Every time I come across somebody talking about the missing scientists, I put in their comments, look up the Marconi deaths. It's all connected. It's all connected to the Strategic Defense Initiative, the U.S. the secret U.S. anti-gravitic program, the secret space program, all of it. It's all connected. So where is share screen? Here we go.
Wait, see, you missed what I said about James Moffat. We're not. Can you guys hear me? I guess he got froze out again. Well, I'm going to continue about the guy James Moffat. James Tony Moffat, 6 years old, was flying with his wife, Lisa, 61, and sons Andrew, 30, and Carolina on Friday. The family from Huntsville, Alabama. Okay. Traveling to the Raleigh, Durham area, North Carolina, to Huntsville for certain. So this guy was a test pilot, and he worked his way up into special programs where he was basically like one of the heads up. Trained pilot, knew what he was doing. Then his plane goes down in North Carolina.
Hold on.
South Carolina.
Damn second. Hold on a second. All right. So please explain this shit to me.
What?
I'm only talking about something here. I have a page loaded up that I want to talk about. Right. That is the second time that my system here has taken a shit trying to look at something like this. But meanwhile, there is Xboxes, TVs, everything fucking connected in my house right now. But my computer that I have this one page loaded up on that I want to talk about has taken a shit twice now within like 5 minutes. Like it's completely kicked me off the fucking internet. Right?
Come on, YouTube,
Guys,
get your shit together.
I'm not talking about nothing that's not already out in the fucking public. It's not, it's not YouTube. It's not YouTube. I'm not talking about anything that's not already out in the fucking public. Keep dumping me out of my shit. See, it just fucking circled again. You rat bastards. I don't care. I'm going to keep talking. I don't care. Clean my glasses up so I can read this shit. I just won't bring it up on screen. That's all. Because anytime I try to bring the shit up on screen, it's kicking me out. Holy shit. All right. So.
And we got
Marconi. It's called.
And we got all the deaths that had to do with ancient aliens. That photo I showed you earlier.
So the Marconi murders. I'm just going to read this off. Where was there a plot to murder Marconi scientists in the 1980s? Okay. Between 1982 and 1990, a cluster of strange and often grisly deaths amongst scientists and computer experts working in Britain's high-tech defense industry baffled investigators. Many of the deaths were so bizarre that they left coroners unable to determine their cause. Others were judged to be suicides and accidents despite clear evidence to the contrary. Most of the victims were computer scientists working for Marconi Electronic Systems and related companies on top secret defense projects, including the U.S. Strategic Defense Initiative. Due to the nature of their work and the oddness of their deaths, by 1987, the national and international press had latched onto the story were the deaths sabotaged by a foreign government or some kind of Cold War plot. Tony Collins, a correspondent for the UK's Computer Weekly, started to receive reports of deaths among computer scientists and engineers in the mid-'80s. Over the next few years, he would file a series of stories on deaths, eventually finding 25 cases he felt were connected. In 1990, he wrote a book, Open Verdict, which concluded the spate of deaths were suspicious. Collins suspected some kind of plot, but was unable to come up with any firm conclusion as to its true nature. Was there really a plot to murder scientists? Evidence for suspicious circumstances. The story began in 1982 with the death of senior computer scientist Dr. Keith Bowden, then a contractor for GEC Marconi, Britain's major high-tech defense company. After attending a social function in London, Bowden drove his car across a dual carriageway and plunged off a bridge, down an embankment and into an abandoned rail yard. He died instantly. The police said Bowden was drunk and was driving too fast, but his wife and solicitor believed otherwise. Friends who were with Bowden that night denied he had been drinking. Bowden's solicitor hired an accident investigator to examine. Somebody had swapped the normally pristine tires on Bowden's Rover with a set that were worn and old. 3 years later, radar designer Roger Hill killed himself with a shotgun at his home. Later that year, Jonathan Walsh died after plunging from a hotel window. The coroner returned an open verdict. More puzzling still was the death of Vimal Dajabi, 24, who jumped off the Clinton Suspension Bridge in Bristol in 1986. Dajabi had been working at Marconi on computer control systems for Stingray torpedoes. Another open verdict was returned. Dajabi was found with his pants around his ankles and a needle-sized puncture wound on his buttock. The Bristol coroner was concerned by this. It was a mystery then and remains a mystery now, quotes the coroner. Perhaps the most disturbing of all the deaths occurred 2 months later. Arshad Sharif, 26, another computer scientist who worked on satellite guidance systems at Marconi, died in the oddest circumstances imaginable. Sharif also traveled to Bristol, tied one end of a ligature to his neck and the other one to a tree, then jammed his foot on the accelerator. What? Take it, get out. Jammed his foot on the accelerator of his car and decapitated himself. So you see what he put the rope around his neck, got in the car, and then offed himself. The day before his death, Sharif had been acting oddly and was seen paying for accommodation in a rooming house with a bundle of high denomination banknotes. So he knew something was going on. A relative summoned to identify the body noticed something suspicious about the car. What appeared to be a metal rod was lying on the floor of the next to the accelerator. Had it been used to wedge down the pedal? The coroner wasn't happy. This is past coincidence. I will not be completing this inquiry until I know how two men with no connection to Bristol came to meet their same end here. So thousands of people worked in the UK's defense industry in the mid-'80s, and these deaths spread out over 3 years could easily be dismissed as coincidence. Indeed, nobody at the time made any connection. But moving into 1987, 1988, the pace of the deaths massively increased, and the UK press and some MPs began to join the dots. The cluster of 87 and 88. 1987 started with the death of Richard Pugh, another computer expert in the defense industry and consultant to the MOD, that's the Ministry of Defense. Pugh's body was found in his flat, his feet bound, a plastic bag on his head, and a thick rope coiled around his body. The coroner's verdict was an accident due to sexual misadventure. Just days later, another scientist engaged in top secret work for the MOD, Ministry of Defense, Dr. John Britton, died in his own garage of carbon monoxide poisoning. The next month, another Marconi engineer, David Skeels, also died of carbon monoxide poisoning, found in his car with a hose pipe connected to the exhaust. Also in February, two more defense engineers and scientists died. Victor Moore from an overdose, and Peter Peepel, yet another victim of carbon monoxide poisoning. Peepel's death was particularly troubling. Having spent an evening with friends, he and his wife returned home, and Peepel went to put away the car. The next morning, his wife found his body jammed underneath the car with his mouth against the exhaust pipe. The police were unconvinced it was a suicide because it seemed impossible he could have maneuvered his body into position it was found. An open verdict was ultimately returned. John Whiteman supposedly drowned himself in his bathtub, the body surrounded by pills and empty alcohol bottles, yet the autopsy revealed no trace of drugs or alcohol in his body. In March, David Sands, a senior scientist working on computer-controlled radar at Marconi's sister company, made a sudden U-turn in his car and crashed at high speed into an empty cafe. His vehicle was inexplicably with cans of petrol, cans of gas, causing the car to completely be consumed by a fireball. Sands was only identified with reference from dental records. In April, in almost identical fashion to Richard Pugh, at the start of 1987, Mark Wisner, 24, was found dead with a plastic bag on his head and cling wrap wrapped around his face. The verdict of death was sexual misadventure. The previous year, Marconi purchased defense electronics firm Plessy. Within a month between May and June 1987, two of its scientists were dead. Michael Baker, 22, in May, and Frank Jennings, 60, in June. At the start of 1988, lab technician Russell Smith, 23, jumped off a cliff in Cornwall. A senior computer engineer at Marconi, Trevor Knight, was the victim of yet another suicide by car exhaust pipe. In August, there were two gruesome electrocutions of senior figures at Marconi that are some of the most suspicious of all the deaths. Alistair Beckham, 50, was a computer engineer who it's believed was working on top secret pilot programs for America's Strategic Defense Initiative. After some late Sunday afternoon gardening, attached wires to his chest, pushed them into a power socket, and with a handkerchief jammed it in his mouth and hit the power. Beckham's wife was entirely unconvinced her husband committed suicide. Beckham was highly secretive about his work, and just hours after his death, men from the Ministry of Defense arrived at his home and took away several documents and files from Beckham's home. In similar but even more gruesome fashion, Marconi director John J. jammed stripped wires into his own teeth fillings and electrocuted himself. Jesus. Could all of these grisly suicides really just be a coincidence? By now, several stories in the press had appeared questioning whether there were actually some kind of KGB or Eastern Bloc conspiracy to kill the scientists. Several MPs and trade union leader Clive Jenkins called for an inquiry into the deaths. Jenkins wrote that the deaths were statistically incredible, and spoke of the concern amongst his members over the clusters of suicides, violent deaths, and murders. So, all right, we'll move on a little bit. Professor Colin Pritchard, a noted expert in mental illness and suicides, thinks at least some of the deaths were statistically uncommon. While it's true suicides is one of the most prevalent causes in early deaths, men, especially young men, Pritchard believes factors in some of these cases make suicide verdicts unlikely. Pritchard cites the cases that at least 4 of these men that share unusual elements. All four men had complained to friends and family that they had been tasked strange, impossible, and unscientific tasks by their employers. All 4 men committed suicide in incredibly violent and bizarre ways. Pritchard has studied numerous suicide cases and thinks such extreme suicide methods are normally only associated with people suffering severe mental breakdowns to the extent they would be unable to even hold down jobs. Yet these men were Yet the men were all employed up until the day of their deaths. None had shown any sign of mental illness or disturbance. All of the men had also recently found new jobs and were preparing to leave within days of their deaths. Likewise, all 4 men had recently arranged appointments with their MPs, medical practitioners. What were the strange unscientific projects that the men were complaining of, and why had they all booked appointments with their MPs? Had they stumbled on something in their jobs that had worried them, something that had led them to be silenced? So we're gonna damn. Ooh, all right. So we're gonna read this one real quick. So hold on, I'll stop that for a second. So guys, what do you think so far? Now, like I said, GEC Marconi was the company that a majority of that black sentient oil was sent to. Now you've got some of these scientists, at least 4 of these guys, talking about they're tasked with unbelievable jobs to complete, and that they made appointments with their medical practitioners. Were they worried about being in contact with this black substance? What were they worried about? And the fact that they were all getting ready to leave the company. Like, oh no, we can't let you leave. You got too much information. Bass, what do you think?
Oh, I have myself on mute. Dude, all right. So with everything that you just said, we were already told about this shit in the X-Files. Now, the question is, what did they...
Sorry, you couldn't hear you. Bass. Hello. Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
All right, yeah, my mic is old, dude. I gonna hit the wire and it cut me out. Now, my question is has there ever been any kind of description about what they found where they took this black goo from?
Apparently, it was like an alien base, an alien base down there that they found under the ocean. Like
Was it an alien base or just like an alien
It was.
object?
It was like they according to the research that I looked into, it was an alien. It was an alien facility, and it was blue, like a blue species that they found whose base that was, but they weren't there anymore. And they found this base and they found this substance down there and they brought it up.
All right. So that leads me into them somehow hiring these scientists. And they figured out a way to put this sentient liquid into computer chips, modems, everything like. Well, basically, you would only really need to put it in a computer chip. Could that possibly have been the birth of AI?
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I had to yell at my 13.
Because think about it, if they're just releasing it now. Because if they're releasing now, that means we had at least 25, 30 years.
Yep. So now I want to continue.
They were just wiping. They were trying to wipe the slate. They were trying to wipe the slate clean about with everyone that had the knowledge that could piece it together. Now the time frame where everyone was killed, that should really spark like, okay. All these guys work for the same companies. There's probably different levels of security clearance, whatnot like that. But like the way the Marconi scientists died in my book, it reads like a thriller novel. They could probably actually make a documentary or a movie about what happened to the Marconi scientists.
Well, here we go. I'll get back into it. So, sexual misadventure as a method of murder. Several of the deaths were put down to sex games gone wrong, but Conrad Black says death by sexual misadventure is a common method in disguising murder in the world of espionage. Black told the Daily Record, making it look like a perverted fantasy gone wrong is in the training manuals of every spy agency from MI6 to Mossad. The sex game cover is a very useful mechanism and means reputation of the victim and blunts the energy of investigation.
Yeah. Think about it, man.
Now,
think about it, man. You think somebody
foreign sabotage?
You're one of these. Hold on. You're one of these scientists or whatever. You're a nerd. Well, I don't mean it like that because I'm a nerd. Well, you know what I'm saying. But you're sitting at the bar one day, or restaurant or whatever, and you just happen to look over and you see said smoke show looking at you. Like, all right, then all of a sudden she comes over and starts chatting you up. You're gonna go with whatever she says, and once in the whatever your preference says, they bring you back to your room, their room, a hotel room, whatever. This shit is all set up, and they make it seem like it was a little rough going far.
All right. Well, here we go with the next one. For sabotage, the Marconi deaths weren't the only unexplained, violent, or unusual deaths among defense workers in Europe in the 1980s. In West Germany in 1986, there were several incidents involving individuals associated with America's SDI, the Strategic Defense Initiative, dubbed Star Wars by the press. The Strategic Defense Initiative was an ambitious program to create a space-based anti-nuclear weapon shield, which would have rendered Soviet nuclear capability useless. That's what they say. In July, Karl-Heinz Burkitz, a director at Siemens and Siemens, and an SDI 26-year-old von Brunmol, a senior advisor in SDI negotiations, was killed. There were other attacks on firms related to SDI, and German prosecutors believe that they had been targeted. Similar deaths and disappearance amongst defense figures in Sweden and Italy occurred at the same time, giving rise to the suspicion that there was an Eastern Bloc plot to attack Western defense capability and the SDI. Attempting to undermine an enemy's defense capabilities by murdering the scientists is not uncommon. The US, the UK, and I'm not saying that one, have all been known to strategically stage accidents to remove high-ranking enemy scientists for. In recent years, at least 4 top Iranian nuclear scientists have been killed by, not saying that name. Killing targets in a foreign country is not uncommon. In 1978, a dissident Gregory Markov was murdered by agents of the Bulgarian secret police aided by the KGB. Many of the Marconi scientists were believed either directly or peripherally in the Star Wars program and other related programs. So we'll leave that at that. I'll post this article in the description or the comment section or whatever have you. But like I said, and I have been saying since this whole missing scientist thing and contractor thing became popular, became mainstream media news, this shit's been on for years. Now you tell me. We'll move on now. Let's move on to these people for a second. All right, Amy Eskeridge. Right, she's the one now recently that you guys have started hearing about. If you go on YouTube, type in her name, and there's like a 2-hour long interview that she did, and she talks about a lot of stuff in this interview. The P45,000s, the P54,000s or P55,000, some, which those. She said those were ultra terrestrials. So what the only other guy I've ever heard mention P45, P55, anything like that was that. And when he was talking about it, those were, so to explain it, they're humans, but from different timelines. So like the P plus 45,000s were grays. The P plus 55,000s would be like, they'd look human. They're humans from different timelines. And I think that right there is a big thing that they don't want us to know. Now I could be wrong here. Like I said, we're all armchair researchers. None of us have seen any of this tech. I mean, some of us have had some experiences, but none of us have seen this tech or interacted with this tech. So technically, we're all armchair researchers. But something is going on. There are 2 people who have had interaction and stuff and just been a part of these programs that have gone missing, disappeared. Like, these are the only ones that are being publicized. How many of these other people are they've never been put out, their names have never been said? How many times have these sweep team, whatever you want to call them, have gone out? And I remember one of the lines you would hear when they were interviewing Roswell witnesses. That one of the lines was, "Yo, bullets are cheap and nobody will ever find you in the desert." They meant that shit. Think about all the people that haven't that you've never heard about being offed. So, like I said, we're moving on to the beginning stuff. That's what they don't want us to know. I think that's one of the things they're afraid that they don't want people to figure out. Right, and that these things could possibly, some of these things could actually possibly be us from a future timeline. Because if you go do your research on it, the Rendlesham Forest incident, what's the one gentleman had when he touched the graph, I never knew he got a 1 and 0s download. He got a binary code download. He wrote it all down. He took it and got it translated. And it was a message pretty much talking about they were future humans coming back in research. So that's one thing that people are, that they don't want us to know. They don't want to know that that they're fucking with interdimensional, that
All right, so let's get into some of the. You still there, Truth, or you get kicked out again? More than 10 seconds, you got kicked out again. All right. So let me bring this back up again. I'll keep going. Son of a bitch. All right. So yeah, you can include this. It was new reported the guy James Moffat. James Moffat, as some of the scientists, researchers that have either been killed or disappeared recently. And there's a whole shit. Can you guys still hear me? We get cut out. Give me one if you can still hear me, please.
Again.
Yeah, again. All right.
3 times now. 3.
Right,
I think our next show might be on
now.
Fucking
each
Rumble
time
or
you get
something
kicked
like
out, I
that.
keep talking about this guy named James Moffat. All right. So we're gonna discuss him real quick because he's one of the newest individuals that had a very high security clearance and was doing stuff that turned up dead for some odd reason. Now, James Moffat, aerospace defense engineer, military veteran, killed in plane crash with family. James Tony Moffat and his family died in a Mooney M20 crash in South Carolina as cause, and while it's still under investigation. It says a decorated veteran pilot, aerospace engineer, and defense researcher was killed in a plane crash in South Carolina last week, raising questions about whether the incident is related to the deaths and disappearances of 11 scientists tied to nuclear and space research. James Tony Moffat, 60, was flying with his wife, I'm going to say Lisa, I don't know how to pronounce that, Lisa, and sons Andrew, 30, and William, 28, when the plane crashed in the wooded area near the runway at Union County Airport in South Carolina on Friday. The family from Huntsville, Alabama, was traveling from Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina to Huntsville. Now, the other stuff I've seen about him, this guy was like he was one of those test pilots that like took everything to the edge, and he worked his way up through the ranks and everything like that. And he probably answered to McCaslin.
Yeah, he probably did.
And he's a trained pilot, and his entire family dies, and one like
there's no way. There's no coincidences there. So like I was saying, before it fucking kicked me out for a third time, like, are you serious? But all right, so we were talking about these new scientists and the anti-gravitic, what they're doing with gravity, and I think that it could be. Oh, you know what? This just flashed in my head, right? So we've all heard. Well, I think everybody's heard of Project Looking Glass and the Yellow Book. So the quote-unquote elites, or whoever is running these dastardly plots, right? They have access to that. So what if? Now, this is just the what if. What if they looked into one of these timelines and they saw that if they try to get rid of all these people, it would. What do you think? Like, because like,
so what you're saying is
McCaslin, he was
trying to correct the process that has gone horribly wrong.
Yes. No, what I'm saying is they're trying to get off the timeline that they saw where their shit implodes on them. So by offing these scientists who could possibly be talk about something that's coming in, or something that's been going on, something that's going on currently, might prevent their timeline from fucking up. You get what I'm saying? Like, they want a whole different timeline than what the one we're on now. Like I said, it involves time. It involves gravity, time. It's all connected. And part of the Strategic Defense Initiative, I'm telling you, it's the fucking secret space program. Secret. It has to be. Just but I'll tell you I'll tell you that what I just read to you guys right here, it's all connected to the street. I read the shit to you. It's connected to the Strategic Defense Initiative, and the shit is still connected to the Strategic Defense Initiative now.
Oh, okay. So let's say, you take the SDI program, Strategic Defense Initiative, and you put that at the top on pyramid, right? Then it just, then you trickle it down like in olive branches.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you'll get.
Yeah, like you get the company names, you get the employees of companies who actually were off, which Marconi has the biggest amount of employees that were offed. They're doing a Skynet erase their enemies before the fight begins.
You start that shit as a pyramid, then you branch it down like vines that grow along the side of a house. And it branches off in so many different directions. It might have started like we were saying before, it started with James V. Forrestal, and it's only gotten bigger to include researchers, private citizens, military guys who have all been offed because they've seen too much or know too much. shit. I would even go to the lengths of maybe some government officials. I'm gonna have to deep dive into that one, but that's a good rabbit hole to dive to. Like sitting representatives and congressmen and congresswomen or whatever who just like bit the dust, if you know what I'm saying. And I believe in that olive branch, in those vines that come down from the top of that pyramid, that's where you'll get your or this is my personal opinion, that's where you'll get your genetic modification and DNA tampering and hybrids and all that shit. I'm still wondering what came across that. I cannot remember this guy's name. He was a congressman sentiment. Congressman / senator. What came across his desk that he's seen that made him want to propose a bill to stop that? Getting aggravated? Yeah, you're right.
You know, I know they're fucking with me because my phone is connected to the same fucking internet, same connection as my desktop here, and my phone hasn't stopped working.
So turn your Wi-Fi off on your phone.
It's not my phone, meaning my Wi-Fi. If my shit is connected to the same Wi-Fi, and the network on my phone is not dropping, but my desktop, but this keeps dropping. Why? Because this is the only thing I'm talking about this shit on.
It's kind of, yeah, that makes sense. But
yo, you got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh my goodness.
Now the reason, can you hear me? Yeah, absolutely. One of the reasons I believe that all this conspiracy shit that we're talking about, all these wild thoughts that we're talking about, can actually be considered to happen is because all the money that goes missing. If you want to find the truth, follow the money. But when it gets into those deep dark programs like that, that's like shell organization. That's like show business over show business over show business, funneling over here, doing this. Because remember, all these private contractors like Halliburton, E.C. Grumman, all shit agencies we never even heard of. You are getting federal funding to do all this stuff. Think about it. You might be able to go to Chat GPT if you have it, which I was really against getting it, but and type in how many genetic modification businesses, well, not businesses, but organizations there are in the United States to accept federal funding, and you'd be surprised. Because if you send the money out, all these private companies and shit like that, they don't have to answer the FOIA. That's one of the big reasons why they do stuff like this.
They don't like me. They don't like me. And you know what? I don't give a fuck because you motherfuckers. Stop messing with my internet. I'm telling you, every time I start getting interesting, it boots me. The FBI, my FBI agent, man, come on, give me a break already. All right, we don't do a show that often, and when we do a show, it's not very topic specific. So back the fuck off. Holy shit. All right. So
So can we dive into
where I was?
Well, we were still talking about Marconi and everything was happening. Then we started gradually getting into what's happening nowadays. Well,
I was talking about time
year and a half. Yeah, and
I was talking about
like time manipulation and how the P45s and the P50s or whatever came back, and they're trying to change their timeline. Well, they're coming back trying to alter shit here to change their timeline.
Yeah. Now, so we can't discount the fact the story of John Teeter.
Oh, the John
Teeter. Do any of you guys remember? Any of you? Truth, you're thinking too deep, and it makes a. I have always said this shit is a 1,000-piece puzzle. I'd much rather deep dive into stuff like this than listen to fucking who's gonna be the next shot caller millionaire or fucking blah, 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 blah. I love stuff that makes you think. It keeps people from being stupid. And the fact that they don't like when people actually put pieces together, that sometimes gets your shit flagged a lot. And this isn't the first time this type of stuff has happened. Bam will tell you, Wilcott will tell you, the first Rumble show we ever did, they completely fucking turned it.
Oh, there it goes again. Yeah, they shut that shit down. Yeah, our first Rumble show, they shut that down. They did that a few times. Well, the first one they really shut down. Then they messed with us a few times after that. Like, I think they were messing with us when we did the UFOs over NATO episode. When we started talking about the Miami Mall incident and the giant angel statue that was found that just miraculously disappeared. They messed with us a few times over there on Rumble. Yeah, that's number 5. But it's starting to get to the age where no matter where you go, you try to speak your truth or whatever you researched for the last 20, 30 years, that they'll try to shut you down. I mean, like, we've been looking into this stuff since early 2000s. I mean, like 2005, maybe even before that. Are you back now?
Yeah, I don't know for how long though.
You didn't even say shit.
I didn't say a fucking word. Yeah, 5 times. 5 times.
So, right before, right when you were starting the show, my shit was getting glitchy while you were playing the music. But my shit is running smooth now.
Wedge said they hit our reptilian show too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got to get back on fucking Rumble. I'm done fucking with YouTube. You guys are trash.
Like, the crazy part is, like,
not the viewers.
We don't
just YouTube, the
like, we
YouTube
don't-
and fucking YouTube as
we don't
a
have-
whole media platform is absolute dog shit. And I'm gonna say it, you're dog shit.
I remember the good old days on YouTube where there was no restrictions and whatnot. Like that's when you found the good info. That's where we seen the first Glimmerman video. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The one that disappeared off the fucking internet for like 10 years after that.
That's where we seen the dude Dill Pickle with the with the aliens and UFOs shit in his backyard down there in Australia.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna say it this one last time, guys. All this shit has to deal with the Strategic Defense Initiative, the Secret Space Program, and time. Those three things. Now, if you take into account the Secret Space Program, like some of these guys talk about, they did these 20 and back programs. When you factor in the time aspect of all of this shit, kind of makes sense now.
Well,
the
the
whole
20 and
age
20 and back
reset-
shit might have the 20 and back shit might have been an offshoot of Montauk.
Yeah, possibly.
Like they like Montauk was the building blocks for the 20 and back. Like once that shit went haywire at Montauk, they figured it out how to actually do it.
Yes. So, like I said, in my opinion, it's three things. It's the SDI program, which the SDI program is probably the umbrella or the blanket program of all the rest of this shit. Y'all think the science? Do y'all think that the scientists have found a way to time travel? Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I wholeheartedly believe they have the ability to travel back and forth through time. Because like I said, if you go look up John Teeter came around in the early-ish 2000s, and he was talking about how he was a time traveler from like the year 2030 something, and he was coming back for a specific computer that had parts that worked for his time travel machine, and the computer was a computer from like fucking 80s and 90s. And one of the things that he talked about were a species of aliens that had come to the planet, and they were trying to cool the planet, and he called them the MIM, and the MIM were supposedly the quote unquote, I think they were designated like the Greys or some shit like that. But the whole John Teeter story is very interesting. If you guys have never listened to Art Bell talk about the John Teeter story, go listen to it. The guy popped up. He started making posts online, commenting and everything. He actually showed schematics for his quote unquote time travel device.
Yeah, it's John Titor.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty interesting. And then there's all right. So Amy Eskridge has said that the time anti-gravity has been figured out 4 times in the past. And I'm telling you, I think anti-gravity plays a huge part in being able to time travel or open up portals or something like that. It has to. All right. So being that it's the fuck, I just lost my train of thought there. I was going there with time travel, Amy Eskridge. I'm just gonna bounce back to this. Yes. Do I think they've found a way to time travel? Yes, I do. I think they're utilizing it. And if they haven't physically time traveled, they might not be to the point where they can physically time travel. Send me or you to like the fucking 1920s or something like that, or later in past.
I think they can do it.
Well, I'm just saying. What if I'm not going that far yet? But I do think that they have the ability to view the past and possibly view the future timelines. And I really think that a lot of this shit deals with time and the strategic defense initiative. And
All right.
I said this last night. Those first strikes in Iran. I don't believe for a second those were missiles. I think that was that Roger God shit. Did World War Three? Hold up. I'm curious about everyone's opinion about: are we witnessing the beginning of World War Three, or did we witness the beginning of World War Three in the Ukraine? Possibly starting now. Yes. The Ukraine thing, no, that's a whole different. All right. That Ukraine thing was more about the biolabs that they fucking have over there and what they're doing in those biolabs.
Now,
and now, hold on. Let me continue. Write your shit down before I can lose my train of thought here. The biolabs that they had over there in the Ukraine. What did one of the recent U.S. senators come out and say? That they got a human alien hybrid program. Where do you think some of this shit's taking place? Just saying. Go ahead, Best.
Now, let's take this a few steps back from what you said. You said you don't believe that we could go back in time physically, but we could view. Basically, like in Helldivers, where you're viewing the world, we could go back in time and like view the shit like that, right? All right.
Yes.
So, do you not remember the photo of the hipster?
But who's to know when that guy came from? I believe I listen, I didn't say that we can't travel back in time. I don't think we can do it just yet. Even in Black Ops programs, I don't think we can travel back in time just yet. I believe we're close to it. And a lot of people say that we invented. A lot of people who, if you listen to the research, they said time travel was pretty much invented in like the 2030s and perfected in the fucking 2040s. So we're close to it. We can view the time. We can review future events, possible future events. We could definitely view past events. I just don't think in 2026 right now we're physically sending people. We could maybe we could physically send people to a Stargate, to like another plane. But I don't know about the time.
Hold on. And then you have the individual with the shack in the backyard. I know you've seen those videos.
Yes, I did. Yep. I ain't got nothing for you.
Think about it, dude. All right, so I'll put it to you like this: in a bubble, we all these countries and whatnot might be quote unquote at war on the surface, but when it boils down to it, we are all together. We're all trying to put money together and figure shit out. Why do you think that there is that basically treaty in Antarctica that nobody could go down there and do shit? Because there's something to it. I personally believe that we have sections of each government around this country, or each higher power around this country, that controls each. And they're all working together, and they figured this shit out. And they select a few certain people, maybe through DNA, through bloodline, or something, some kind of rigorous test, where they could send these people back, actually in time.
Possibly. So recently, James Fox had said that he was talking to he wound up talking to like some high up government official, And the dude was like, James Fox asked the guy, he was like, yo, how many people do you think have the whole picture? Know everything.
I remember that.
And James Fox said the gentleman had said 7 to 10. 7 to 10 people know the whole shebang. Right? Then he said, okay, where would you put yourself? And the gentleman thought about it for a second. He's like, probably one of 30 with the information he knows. And he said some of this shit is why he said a lot of this information is it's wild and would be cause for concern for people. And I'm telling you, there's only two real, now when you step back and look at it, there's only two real things that'll fuck people up. If we find out that it's not really aliens, right? Because everybody, when they came out in like 2020, 2021, everybody was like, oh, aliens are real. Everybody's like, yeah, fuck you. We know, we've been knew that, right? The only thing that
when we were on global shutdown.
Yeah, everybody's like, yeah, fuck you. We knew that already. But the only real thing that would really, really mess people up were to find out if these things that were in our skies was really us from future timelines, or the shits were actually angels and demons. Hold on, let me see. Oh, all right. So Crystal Deggs asks, Truth Bass, have you ever given any thought to the abduction angle and being messed with? Truth more so because you talk more than Bass.
I got you.
No, go ahead. I want to see how you're going to answer this.
What, our abduction angle, or just the abduction angle in a broad statement? Like what happened with us, or just a broad?
I don't know. Hold on. What's up, Kelly?
Now,
Crystal, you got be a little more specific there. Yes, you too.
Yes, you too. Okay. Personally, I believe what happened with us is that me and Truth are on both sides of the family, multiple cousins, uncles, whatnot. On both sides of the family, me and Truth are the only set of twins. And everything that happened with my mother's side of the family, which is very strange. We're still trying to get our cousins to come on to talk about what their fathers and everybody experienced. We're the only set of twins on both sides of the family, so I think that played a big role into it. I mean, like, what happened with us per se? Initially, I thought we were in the wrong place at the right time. But as years have gone on, I realized that it was probably a setup, because I don't have kids or whatever, but Burger and Jay, they both have kids. And at different points in time, their kids have talked about like experiencing something strange. I remember Burger telling me back in like 2008, 2009 that his daughter was seeing ant people come through the windows at her. And you said it was something about one of your sons having something happen to him. I think it was Carter, might have been with the needle point.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that it runs on our family. It just picks and choose. It not so much on my dad's side of the family, absolutely on my mom's side of the family. They pick and choose like I say this? It picks and chooses. Because Burger had that experience, but his two brothers haven't. You already know about Uncle Perry. Uncle Aaron, I don't think he ever seen anything. If he ever seen anything, he never said anything, even though he was good friends with the dude Phil's dad, who was former military. I remember that conversation we had about Area 51.
So I'll tell you this, because the way I'm reading this question, have you ever given any thought to the abduction angle and being messed with? Truth, more so because you talk more than Bass. So once again, I had that whole sequence of events. I had fucking clocked that whole trip, not the whole trip, but from first visual to the overpass and down the road, 5 miles on highway and back roads. It wasn't a it was a setup. I'm plain and simple like that. Now the thing about the talking more, to me it's interesting because I'm not a fucking talkative person. Bass will tell you. Bass, do I talk in public? Do I talk ever?
No, I talk way more than you in public.
But when it comes to this type of subject matter, I don't know. Like if you go back, there's an episode where we did an interview where we talked about the shit, and Rafi and Fairmoon had did a remote viewing of what happened, and from what he saw, and I think Roth is pretty competent at what he does. He saw that these things had me and Bass sat on a bench talking to us, and they had my cousin over here in the corner. Why the fuck were they talking to us? Could it be this type of stuff here? I have no idea. But when it comes to this type of subject matter, it's like my brain fucking like the synapses start going. You know what I mean? And I can't explain it. And I feel like it might be like that for a few other people too. And I've given some thought to this shit.
Well, you know me.
Me and Bass
are
the fucking New York fire in the sky incident, guys. Like nobody, and the only people that fucking know it are you guys.
Honestly, like after the first few years, like it got to the point with me where it's like, you know what? It is what it is. Like,
yeah, I just whatever. But no, yeah, it's. Any other family?
I know some strange shit happened. I have no idea what happened, but I do know some strange shit happened. I have the physical proof in my right foot.
Crystal Bass does. Burger does. I got video of something that was in my shin. Yeah. Yep. I believe it.
Oh, it's still there. I'm rubbing it right now.
Yeah. So
I remember I freaked a few people out at the first Dogman conference because they didn't believe me. I was like, yeah, I got something in my foot, and they was like, no way. I was like, all right, now I'm gonna show it to you. No, I didn't show it. Well, you could feel it on my foot, and they was like, oh my god, you really do have something in your foot.
No,
it's still there. I'm feeling it right now. It's a fucking size of a BB.
I think they were interested in my cousin for a completely different reason than us. I have a pretty good idea of why they. I have a pretty good idea why I was the one whose attention was caught. I'll say that. Now that I step back and look at it from a perspective, I definitely kind of figured out why I'm the one whose attention they got. But I'm not gonna say anything about that because you guys are gonna think I'm crazy as fuck. Not gonna happen. So, but I want to say it's 11 o'clock at night, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's got work tomorrow. I want to thank you again for joining us on this special episode of An Impromptu Truth. What's really going on with the missing scientists, and listening to us rant and rave about.
Which we really didn't
that,
dive into. We just started rambling, and you had difficulties. So
yeah,
we're gonna have to revisit this topic.
Oh, we will.
Hold on, because it's so soon. Let's give it 7 days because we haven't even touched on all the people involved with ancient aliens that have passed away.
Oh yeah, there's like what 8 or 9 of them now.
I'll bring up the photo. Hold up. I'm not gonna show it on screen, but I'll look at the photo right now. And I'll tell you right now.
What's Wedge got? At Truth of Bass, are the two of you same-handed? Are both of you right-handed or both of you left? We are both right-handed.
Yes.
Both right-handed.
Right now, as it counts, everybody, the total amount of people that died dealing with ancient aliens is 9. And the most recent being Eric Von Daniken, Nick Pope, and I guess
David
rumors are confirmed David Wilcock.
Which rest in peace to David Wilcock.
Been a couple
I followed
producers.
I followed his content. He's a very interesting man. I'm telling, and the David Wilcock thing is not no. He's been saying for years that he was told if he kept talking, they were going to off him. They're just doing that shit now. It was a aggressive form of cancer, which has been used in the past. Just saying. Like he got it like 6 months ago.
Yeah, and it rapidly took him.
Can you guys kind of see in the near future? Callie, no comment.
I'll go with you on that. No comment. Deja vu is a bitch though.
Oh yeah, that's suffer. I get fucking deja vu all the time, but the whole I'm not commenting on.
Now when I see deja vu, I try to when I see the whole version of the deja vu that I'm gonna experience, I try to do something just a little bit to shift it, if that makes sense. Because you already see the ending and you try to do if you possibly can, a little manipulation to change the outcome. And I do that shit all the time.
All right, I'll comment this. I'll leave this comment, Kelly. Not future. And I can't do it anymore. I'll leave it at that. I think that's why I smoke a lot of weed. Deja vu every fucking day. I don't dream anymore. Everything's deja vu. Everything that I see while I'm sleeping, it happens like a few days later. Everything. But no, yeah, I wouldn't. To answer your comment before, I wouldn't say it was I wouldn't say future. I'm going to leave it at that. But I want to say thank you guys for joining us on another episode of An Impromptu Truth. We'll be back with you next week, and we might do a part 2 on this. We definitely got to get on Rumble because I'm tired of doing this shit on YouTube. They're messing with me too much over here. Did I have a happy 420?
And we got to get the girl from Marlboro on too.
Yes. I have to figure out when she's not on an evening shift. Like, you know what I mean? So we'll have to figure that out, but we got to get it. We'll get her on, and then we still got Josh Wagner, author of The Worst Verse, to come on. We still got Kit to come back on, the DOD whistleblower.
Oh, he's been waiting. He's been messaging me. So
I want to get Rogue back on, so we can go back. We redo his.
We gotta get dirt. We gotta get dirt.
get his immortal story again, because I love that story. That was one of the best stories I've heard. I got Dirt. I think I have Dirt's number in my phone, so I'll reach out.
Gotta get Dirt.
Yeah, we'll reach out to Dirt. But we're gonna start lining up some shows and shit. Our shows are gonna start being on like Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, give or take, because my day is off shift, and I figure everybody tries to do shows on the weekend. We're just gonna move away from that.
I'm happy you get days off.
Finally, after like fucking 15 years, right? If I actually get some decent
day off. My last day off was Easter.
Marlboro, yeah, Wedge, yes, Marlboro. It is called Marlboro, New York. It is in Orange County.
Yeah,
It's a real place. It's real, and their school colors are black, orange, and white. Like that's the town school colors. They actually have pretty good pumpkin patches and apple picking down there too. We go apple picking down there in Marlboro. But yes,
it's like what, maybe an hour away from the city?
Yeah,
maybe, depending on how fast you're driving.
Oh yeah, the girl from she's got some pretty interesting stories. Few family encountered some Bigfoot and some dogman like creatures down there in Orange County, which is just the next county over.
I would love to get the she actually came in today. The little lady I told you about that's seen the troll under the bridge in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if she knows how to use shit.
I told you what you do. You pull out your phone and just record it, and then we'll play it back on the show.
Yeah.
All right, but I digress. So everybody, enjoy the rest of your night. We will see you again next week. Thank you again for joining us on Impromptu Truth. What's really going on with these missing scientists? I hope it was entertaining and informative, and you learned something. Like, this shit's been going on for years. All right. So again, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
Have a good night, guys.